Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Butler's in the other room. My wife just went to get me some food.
Mm-hmm. And on the line with us right now to talk a little bit about some cigar news, maybe a little baseball, because we always
Why
go
do you always go to
Because we
baseball?
run out of cigar news.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I have a smidgen. I have a smidgen of stick news that we can talk about.
On the line with us right now, Chris Gwaltney from thehumidor.com. Again, use promo code Tom and Dan. If you're going to shop at thehumidor.com, you'll get a percentage off, and we'll get credit for it. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good, man. Real good. What's new in the humidor.com's world?
Well, in the cigar world, it's it's obviously just like most other industries, things kind of got turned upside down a bit. I know we've talked about it before with factories shutting down and all that, but it seems like the production and all that stuff is back up to speed now, but we're starting to experience some of the pains from them not rolling cigars for 2 months. So we're starting to have a few issues with certain brands not being able to fulfill orders. But other than that, the fact that we canceled our big trade show this summer when they roll out all the new brands, so now most of the manufacturers are kind of trickling out the stuff that they were going to present at the trade show this summer. So they've been doing – some have done some virtual trade shows. I did a trade show with one on Zoom. Some guys are doing small private meetings where they show you the new products, but it's not like it's definitely different from the past where we'd get inundated with all these new options and new products and then decide what we're going to get and kind of get them all at one time. Everything's kind of going to stream in over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I saw yesterday that the cigar trophies for 2020 were voted on. Well, I guess the various countries voted between, June 3rd and the 14th, and it was over 150,000 votes over 12 days, and they're doing a virtual ceremony on the 18th of September for the 2020 cigar trophies.
Really?
Yeah.
For what?
Will you be attending said deal on Zoom, sir?
I think you can tell by my reaction that I probably will not be attending.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. You don't strike me. You don't strike me as a virtual gala guy. When I read that, though, I laughed out loud when I read that because they actually did this big thing, and I went to the website to research this.
Yeah.
And boy, they're trying their hardest to roll this thing out like it's champagne tuxedos, and you get in front of your computer and you enjoy the gala. And I'm like, who in their right mind would do that? I hope somebody does.
The whole point of going to these things is to open bars.
Right.
Now you got to pay for your own booze at your house. So how is that fun?
Yeah. It's not. But but they also said on the website that just what Chris is talking about. They lay that out. Like if you are going to hobnob, you now have to do a virtual hobnob, which is I don't even know what that is.
I did a virtual hobnob last time.
Oh, my God.
Because the old lady, she's,
It's just easier sometimes to virtual hobnob than it is to.
a real hobnob.
Yeah.
So as you get older and you're with your wife longer, you're just like, I'm just going to opt for the virtual hobnob every time.
Sometimes you look at your hobnob and you're just disgusted by her, and the hobnob's yelling at you, and you're like, I can't take it anymore.
Virtual hobnobs.
Way better. Write down virtual hobnob.
I'm sorry, Chris. So
That's great. It's great.
So, during this time, I wonder if will this help, like, the cigar? Okay, because we've been talking about this a lot with entertainment, and we've been talking about in the music world, there's going to be so much new music that's probably going to come out during this time because bands aren't touring. There's no shows. So everybody's just going to be in the studios writing and stuff. So we're going to probably see like an influx of an insane amount of new music and art coming out just because artists are being forced to.
I think so. I think we could be on the cusp of some sort of true renaissance due to the quarantine.
Yeah, so I have no idea how this works, but with like all like you said, all these different seminars being shut down and galas and the trade shows. Will this provide, like, all of a sudden, like, the manufacturers are going to start coming out with, they have more time because they're not going to all these different places? Are they going to, start doing a lot of research and development, come out with, like, new flavors, new cigars, like,
New blends? Does that even, like,
I have
work?
no idea.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I mean, I think you're right on with, especially with artists. You always hear the story about the political activist that goes to jail and he writes his masterpiece because he doesn't have anything else to do. He's in prison and he writes a novel or whatever. So, I mean, and writers and musicians and stuff. I mean, they always once they get isolated, that's what they do. That's when they do their best work. So I think you're right there. As far as like the cigar industry goes, I don't think so much from the creative standpoint of creating new brands because they're always doing that. But I do think that they have all the money that they set aside for marketing the brand directly to the consumers. The events they do, they go out to cigar lounges and do these big events and come out and meet so and so and kind of thing to promote the products. I think all of the on-premise promoting money is not being spent right now.
Yeah.
So I do think that maybe they'll obviously have to reallocate those sources to another channel, and whether that's our channel, the off-premise consumer, and maybe creating more programs for that, or maybe it's doing more virtual marketing. But I do think that as far as creativity goes, though, I mean, look, the cigar industry is extremely competitive. I think everybody is always looking for that next great thing. For some companies, maybe, it could be right. I don't know. I mean, you could be onto something there. There may be some companies they're so busy and they're trying to keep up, and now things kind of slowed down. They took those 60 days and said, hey, let's kind of get back to basics and see and kind of look at things from a different angle. So maybe in that retrospect. But I do think that for the most part, I mean, the cigar industry is very innovative, and if you're gonna remain relevant in the industry, you got to find a way to not only have consistent brands of what you already have that sells well, but always looking for that next big thing. So that's a good point, but it's a good point.
Chris, I also wondered has there ever been, like, in the past, let's say 50 years, some new technology that they've, implemented into cigars? Like, it seems like cigars have been basically made the same way for a long, long time. Like, is there?
They almost by what they are, they have to be. Because
I know.
the hands-on, like,
right.
I mean, Chris has taught us. We're not cigar men, but we learn from him, right? And he's talked about how, like, over 500 hand. And it has to be done by hand. There are over 500 by-hand processes that one cigar will go through before it goes to you to enjoy at thehumidor.com. So if there's that's
and
way too many to be able to automate.
And the tobacco inside the tobacco leaf, it seems like you're not really, revolutionizing any of this.
It's almost
cigar.
like the only thing that robots cannot do.
Also, you couldn't change the ingredients too. It was like,
well, in fact, the robot couldn't select. We also learned from Chris that what have we learned? We've learned that it's done by human eyes, right? To find the tobacco. Normally, it's done by women, right? Because he said that they seem to be better at it.
Yeah,
they have better eyeballs.
Or better at a lot of things.
I'll second that. But I'm just saying. So what we've learned is really that women can make the best cigar, robots cannot.
There you go.
There you go.
That's true. I mean, there's so much sight feel, feeling the tobacco, and it's just that person has so much knowledge because they've done it so many times that in a matter of seconds they can feel a leaf and look at a leaf and tell the difference between the leaf before that. And I just don't see how I'm sure there's some computer that could probably figure out, but some things are just as good as they're going to get. It's like a toaster, right? I mean, toaster technology hasn't changed in 100 years. I mean, we still put the bread in the machine, and we still wait like 30 minutes for a piece of toasted bread.
In fact,
you think someone could come up with a better toaster?
Yeah, toasters that tried to be better, I've tried, and they're typically not as good as the one that just has the little red filaments in there heating up and burning your bread.
And there's never been any new ingredients or like a different wrapper or a synthetic cigar wrapper or anything like that they've tried to implement. and
Never thought about that.
like recently.
Yeah,
It's
have they ever tried to do like that's gross, but I mean like
Well, like if
like
you,
made of like something other than a
tobacco leaf, yeah, because you could theoretically you could make a synthetic paper or something that burns like
I don't think it'd be.
But maybe what's the point?
Would it not be a cigar then, Chris? How would that work?
Yeah, well, it's funny you bring that up. They actually make something like that for the mass market cigars. For your Swisher Sweets and Black and Milds, and those mass market machine made cigars are usually made from what the wrappers is what they call a homogenized tobacco.
Yeah.
And basically what it has tobacco components in it, but it's like combined with other ingredients, and it's like cut into like sheets of paper. So it's almost like a sheet of paper, and it wraps around the inner tobacco inside. But that's primarily only used for mass market cigars. So
what
premium cigars.
Yeah, like what did we learn today?
Cigars,
It's like
even
nuggets.
machine-made.
It's like chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
You've got like the ones that are true, real, organic chicken strips, like a real cigar, or you've got your mass market, Swisher Sweets or your White Owls, which is a chicken McNug. So there you go. And
Right.
we have limited time. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. I was just going to tell you real quick. For on the tobacco side of things, not so much as trying to scientifically create an artificial tobacco. What you're going to find is most of the cigar companies and the tobacco growers are just basically finding new ways to grow tobacco in different places. And a good example is in Connecticut broadleaf, which is a great wrapper for making Maduro cigars and prized all around the world. The issue is the real estate. Less and less people are growing tobacco in Connecticut. It's just not economically viable. The real estate's too valuable, and the labor cost is too high. So all these manufacturers are trying to find a way to take that seed tobacco and kind of replicate what happens in Connecticut and places like Honduras and Nicaragua. I mean, they do that all the time. They've been doing it with wrapper leaf, growing non-traditional tobaccos for those regions, trying to get tobacco and replicate other tobaccos so they can produce it at a higher level and at a better cost. So that's always going on. I'd say that's probably most of the innovation on the tobacco side. Not so much mechanization or things like that, but just trying to get new seed varieties that can grow in different climates and kind of replicate what you can do in other places where it's hard to source the tobacco. Places like Africa, which grows really good wrapper leaf, it's really hard to source it because it's such a remote location.
Right.
So that's really kind of where they're going with that.
Chris, do they ever do like hydroponics when it comes to growing tobacco, or is it you need too much of it to the field need to be too big? It's not like marijuana where one plant can yield like a couple ounces, where tobacco leaves and stuff is probably just too much, right?
Yeah, you can't really grow the adult mature plant. You can probably get away with the seedlings before you transplant them to the field, maybe using hydroponic to do it. But the problem is with that tobacco leaf, it's almost like a grapevine. It needs to have strong roots. It needs to put down a strong root system. It needs to be in soil that's going to provide it enough nutrients and enough water, but not too much. It's got to drain well enough to where it doesn't rot, because the roots don't like to be in soil that's too moist. So it's got to be perfect soil composition, perfect drainage, the right nutrients, and then you got to think about it. The leaf is the fruit, right? So you want the leaves to get big, and you want the leaves to get all the nutrients. That's why they cut the flower off of the plant, because they don't want any energy going into trying to reproduce the plant. They want all the energy to go to the leaves.
Gotcha.
So,
it's funny. This is what you taught me about my silly peppers I've been growing.
Yeah.
Tom taught me I got to trim from the top. You want it bushier at the bottom. You want to fruit more. You want to make sure and drive the hormone down the root stem to burp, burp, burp.
Yeah.
It's
plants are plants.
Yeah, it's all science.
Well,
Yep.
Chris, do you got anything to tell any of our listeners? Any specials going on at humidor.com?
No, man. First of all, appreciate everybody's business. Obviously your listeners are a huge part of that. They love to use that Tom and Dan code, and we really appreciate it. And like I say, we're a family-owned business here in Florida, and we appreciate people that are shop local and try to help folks out. And we really do appreciate it, whether you're in one of our retail stores or you're doing it online. And like I said, man, I can't say it enough. If we don't have your email, you're really missing out on some really cool really cool opportunities. I mean, we're running some really good promotions, and they change on a weekly basis. So we're always picking brands. We're doing special deals. So there's always something really cool, and they'll send it out. It'll last, 3 or 4 days, and it's over. So, if we don't have your email, and you're not signed up and you're not on the site, man, I'd encourage you to do it. We're not going to send you junk. You're not going to get an email every day, but you're only going to get an email. We got a real good deal you might be interested in. So
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, Chris, it was great talking to you today, and we'll talk to you next month for sure.
All right, brother, man. Y'all take it easy.
All right,
take it
brother.
easy, Chris.
Stay safe.
Again, thehumidor.com. Use promo code Tom and Dan, and bye-bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. My wife stopped by to bring me food. Oh, your mic's not on. Sorry. There you go.
You just didn't want to hear my voice anymore. You
Well-
hear it all day, all night.
Not really. We don't really talk that much,
Right?
right? I mean, I think this is like the first time I've seen you this week, right?
Yeah, you have been at work until last night, like 6:15.
Well, I was getting those videos done, and
then you're-
I like to hide from you guys.
I feel like
So
you do.
I spend time here, and I drink, get drunk, and then I go home, and I'm like, I gotta do
he
it.
says, "Oh, I've got so
Gotta
much
do
to
it.
do,"
Gotta do it.
and so he gets home at 6, and then he leaves as soon as we
Yeah,
wake
as soon
up.
as I wake up, I get in the car and I'm like, I don't even say goodbye.
Jeez.
You yell at him?
No, I just say, "Okay, whatever."
That's a very
She's
good
sick of
partner.
him too.
That's a very. I go yell that crow
but
crazy.
I like my time to myself too. But
All right.
but the unfortunate thing is I don't have that time to myself. I'm with Maisie. The
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
So we start fighting.
yeah.
What, you and May, or me and you? or
me,
or everybody?
me and May.
Yeah, you guys have been known to argue a little bit. Let's do some voicemails.
right.
Let's do this one. Let's talk about piggies.
Hey Sam, Tom, Dan, Butler. It's Christina from Oklahoma. Y'all were talking to Canadian Josh. Great interview, by the way. He's very fun. But y'all were talking about pigs eating anything. I had an uncle that when I was growing up, we would have big get-togethers at his home. And I can't remember. It was some small town. I'd have to remember. But he had hogs, like 2 pet hogs. And one of them he named Tina after his daughter. And they would go fishing, and Uncle Coy would clean the fish and throw the fish carcass, like the bones, the head, stuff you wouldn't even think could be edible, into the hog pen, and they would eat it and crunch, 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 eat the whole thing. So I will never forget that memory. Anyway, love y'all. Have a good day. Bye.
I love you too.
So
Crunch, 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 huh?
yeah, they'll eat it now.
Where's the closest pig? Do we know anybody that has a?
We know, yeah.
Nikki.
No. That's a domesticated pig. I need a farm hog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want to do a bit where we find things in the studio and then we have Butler drive it out to the farm and throw it in the pen and see if the pig eats it.
I don't
My
think.
husband's mom used to have a couple pigs, but I think they've all passed at this point.
I think.
You have a pig?
What? Oh yeah,
Well-
his buddy.
That's domesticated too.
Yeah.
Why am I just finding out that Butler has a pig?
Or no, he put it in the group chat one time. Remember, he was over.
I
it
don't
He
was
went to
like-
go visit.
I'm with you
This is
now.
my-
I don't read
Well,
the group
technically
chat.
he doesn't
It's
have
just
it
Butler
anymore.
and Sam making jokes and talking about how stupid we are the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
All it is them, oh, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. He's an idiot. Our
Yeah.
bosses are idiots. And I'm like, are
Yeah.
they joking?
Yeah,
It doesn't feel
We
joking.
thought that was just our text messages.
It
Sometimes
does-
we get them crossed.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel joking. And then Butler last night replied to email from our landlord.
Oh yeah.
And you realize you put him on the email. You
No, I
replied.
didn't.
Oh, you better triple check.
I did. I deleted him off it.
Uh,
Look at it.
You better fold your Apple click down.
You better look at it.
No, I know. I checked. It's the first thing. It's the first thing I checked was that I wanted to pucker his butthole. I couldn't do it. Okay, you checked.
You can't make it pucker anymore. It's so puckered. It's chapped.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I think a pig will eat anything that
If they're hungry enough, they'll eat anything.
like meat and stuff, but not like a hat and shoes and things. But a goat will. I
right,
think.
right.
Yeah.
Like a goat will
what
eat a
will
tin
eat-
can.
What animal will eat
Everything.
Everything.
I think.
A
Goat?
tiger shark.
Yeah. Sharks and goats.
Oh, your crow's going off.
Uh-oh, crow alert.
Oh, yeah. There she is.
Can I change her ringtone to go? Ah! Ah!
No, because she'll find out. She'll
No,
call me
you can
inside
even
the house.
leave it on.
Oh,
She'll
okay.
call you inside the house.
Oh yeah.
I want to see what you have my ringtone set at.
If I just like walk around the corner and she's like, where'd this guy go? I'm gonna call him.
Oh my God.
That's not
I'm gonna
true.
call him.
He's just making
No,
stuff
it's
up
true.
now.
It seems-
it's not
It
true.
seems that miserable to me in my mind.
You need that old school intercom system.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fact, but it seems that way.
I saw a couple
Emotionally.
houses when I was looking for houses with the intercom. and
I want that.
It's weird.
Let's get.
You can do with the Alexa. You can drop in.
Yeah,
to
have you
different
ever done
rooms.
that?
I don't
do you,
like
do you
it.
ever drop in on Alexa?
No.
You can drop in. I do it for Maisie all the time. If she's like,
In a room.
yeah, if she's acted, I send her to her room and she might be throwing a little fit. Your boys don't strike me as fit throwers, right?
They don't. Yeah,
Like if you send them to their
calm.
room, yeah, May will be like,
Just
you know.
kicking, throwing things.
So I drop in and I'm like, excuse me, and then it gets real quiet.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's the new intercom.
Yeah, they never. It's so bizarre. I was talking to Crystal. I was like, they just are too well behaved to
they
young
just
boys.
kind
That,
of sit.
yeah, they'll sit in the ground. I'm like, do something, like run.
They're
Like,
containable, which is nice. Like Maisie is a little sprinkle of chopper on top of her. But let's get back to the issue at hand.
Oh, yeah.
Goat or pig? Because I want to find the animal that I can just feed like
Everything.
these papers right here.
A
from,
goat.
Goat.
Yeah.
Goat
Yeah.
will eat anything. I think. Like a goat will eat
Like
a
you
tin
mentioned,
can,
I
or
think you
whatever.
mentioned my two favorite things that I want to have an animal eat, which is tin can and hat.
But I don't think a goat, like a goat, won't eat a human body if it just died on the floor.
But a cat will.
Maybe it will, like if it was hungry enough. But I
Everybody said that like if an old lady dies in her apartment, like we think the old lady that lived above us died. And if she had had cats and she was able to stay there without being found for like a week, would her two tabby house cats eventually
yeah.
eat
Yes.
her nose off?
Yeah, because they'll be starving, so they'll just eat.
go
And
for
her
the
body
soft
starts
cartilage.
composing.
Yeah.
And so then they're just like, oh, this is meat. I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
And they're
Did you
starving.
really just
and-
forget the word?
I didn't forget it.
Oh, get him.
Oh, look at this.
That was
Look,
on
so
that.
she's going to start having a fight
My-
with me just because I
Yeah.
have a cute southern drawl.
Yeah, that'll make them stay around the house.
My mom brain.
Well, looks
had a
like I'll be
fart.
home around 7 tonight.
Can you make it 9 so at least I have 2 hours by myself?
She doesn't even
Oh,
want
yeah.
to come.
Yeah.
See you at 9.
That's
That's
what
fine.
I
I'm going to
want.
stay here and do some hobnobbing.
Chris is calling me. She knows I'm doing.
Yeah, you're actually working and just calling you.
no,
Andrea's
stop.
like, don't even come home till
That's
9.
stop. She's like,
I think the
whatever you're doing is not important. I know.
my favorite thing when your wife calls you is that she will call during a segment.
And she'll go, "What
But
are you doing?"
It's usually right when
Like,
we
I'm
started
working.
the segment. No, she'll call and then it'll go to voicemail or whatever. But then she'll call back and I'm like, well, you knew. I mean, you knew what he was doing.
It doesn't matter. And then if I say I gotta go, she'll be like, fine. And then she'll hang up and be mad the rest of the time.
I sometimes can you tell her just sometimes check Twitch? I'll check Twitch if I need to call Dana.
No.
You don't want her to
Don't
know?
ever have her check Twitch.
No.
No.
And she don't care about bothering me or
No.
yeah, she'll bother me. I don't give a damn. That's
If
why she
Tom,
loved Crow.
I feel like if Tom came in here live on Twitch and said, "The next person who bothers me, I will kill myself," his phone would ring and it'd be his wife.
yeah.
I feel like it would be like
good. That's what the Crow wants. Apparently,
Don't call her the girl. That's not nice.
she'll never find out. You'll listen to this garbage.
Okay.
That's what she calls it.
Oh.
'Cause she's the Crow.
Let's talk about this while everybody here except for Tom plays Animal Crossing or did. I know Butler has waned a little bit. Samantha hasn't had time because she moved in. Andrea, you probably play the most out of everybody here, second by me.
Right,
I
because
haven't
my
had a lot of
daughter
time.
wants me.
Oh, I checked in the other day and I haven't played in over a month, which they all of my neighbors, villagers had to tell me about. Like, we haven't seen you in a month.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll move away, too, I think.
I think I still have everybody, but yeah, I'm swimming now. That's
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah, you can
See, I don't know
swim
any
now.
of the updates.
Maisie wants me to swim all the time because she wants me to collect all the mermaid stuff for her.
Yeah, so we're
Oh,
getting
nice.
we're still playing, but then we had a caller because we have a lot of listeners that play. And if
Yeah.
you play
We
Animal
got a
Crossing,
subgroup.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Reach out to us. We'll help you get in the BDM or the listener subgroup. But here is a listener weighing in on Animal Crossing.
Dan, first of all, I'd like to thank you for getting me hopelessly addicted to Animal Crossing. I've been furloughed since March, almost 4 months. Yay! And fortunately, financially, everything's fine. So I've just been chilling at the house with my 3 kids, hanging out, playing Animal Crossing with them. We've got a bustling economy on our little island. But one thing I've noticed, in Nook's Cranny, little Tommy and Timmy, why do they treat me, or I guess you, or anybody else in there, like we're gonna steal shit?
Oops.
Like, have you noticed how as soon as
Yeah, they are. It's a little racist in that respect.
They do
Like,
follow you
what?
around.
Yeah, they follow you around.
It's annoying.
Like, yeah, it is
So
annoying.
does Mabel.
Yeah.
Mabel in the
Yeah.
clothing shop, she'll follow you around.
All the storekeepers do kind of follow you around, but I have had a discussion about Animal Crossing and about the stereotypes that are inside the video game with my wife before, because I don't know if you've had this problem, but I'm not going to say it's a problem. I'm just going to say that culturally, I think the Japanese created this game, and sometimes stereotypes and things are going to sneak through, right? We have 2 characters on our island that happen to be bigger ladies, right?
Yes.
And they both have a sassiness that can only be explained like the black woman on Parks and Rec.
Retta.
Retta.
Okay.
Okay, you know that character?
Yeah, yeah.
Both of these like characters, they're both elephants. They're like sassy, bigger lady elephants that I swear to God are made to be like a sassy black lady.
And every time you go in, the music
Goes urban.
is thumping.
Yeah, and I told Andrew, I go, that's probably not that's not right.
Well, I mean, it's just it's a cartoon.
Yeah, but I mean,
what-
like, why
who's
did
gonna
you
get
make
offended by that?
Did you make all the elephants Rattas?
I don't know.
Because
we don't
the
have any other
two-
elephants. so.
We need to investigate. I'm just saying.
If you have an elephant on your island, let us know.
yeah,
if
let
they're
us know.
sassy.
I want to know if
don't.
they made it urban. Because
be
we
on
know
the
what that
lookout.
means. Isn't that just a nice way of saying they made it black? Or what people perceive as a nice way of saying it?
And
I don't know.
To this
Seemed
guy's
weird.
point, I think the shop owners are just extending good customer service.
Yeah,
They are
want-
not
but
following you
They're a
around.
little clingy, but
They do
yeah.
want you to be close to you, so in case you have a question or you want to
Right.
sell something.
Oh, okay. Juan, he plays a lot. He's weighing in. He says the Japanese don't give a blank about stereotypes. Almost every single animal is a stereotype or pun. He has a hood rat yellow bear cub. She wears a tracksuit, and her catchphrase is "Ya heard."
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just
So it's
wanted to
Missy
make,
Elliott?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't incorrect when I saw that. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And if they don't care about it, then fine. No
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to care.
Yeah, yeah. I think cartoons can. It's like the theory of Family Guy and all these. If it's in a cartoon form, you can get away with a lot more than you could.
Oh,
if- yeah. Like because it's a cartoon. I think old Seth MacFarlane has said that before. It's like you could never get away with the jokes that we say. On like Family Guy or whatever, in like in a regular sitcom or whatever, people would go crazy. But if it's a cartoon, for whatever reason, it's less harsh.
Look at South Park.
yeah.
Have
It's
you
a-
guys been using your bug assaults that we got sent from Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you killed anything? I have yet to use mine.
Oh, Crystal gets mad. Me and Tommy and Max, we went outside. We were hunting moths, and
Oh
because
man, why are you doing that?
they're all over the grass.
Wait a minute.
In
I
our
don't
Airbnb.
think the crow is torturing you. I think you guys torture the crow.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
she'll
know
tell
your
you
wife
that.
is an animal lover, so you're gonna load up your guns and go out
Surprised
back and
Max would
hunt
do it.
Yeah.
As a moth,
To your wife, a moth might as well be a human.
No, she hates moths.
Oh,
really?
She
There's
has,
some
write
big,
that
pretty
down.
ones, though.
she has a fear of moths.
I didn't know.
Mothman.
She got hit in the face by a giant moth one time in the truck when she was driving. Like it got sucked in the window. It hit
Like
her in
an
the
Atlas
face.
moth.
Yeah, like a
Animal
bird.
Crossing tie-in. Yeah.
Like a bird-sized moth. I mean, the damn thing was,
They get
five,
huge.
5 inches.
Why am I
you know.
laughing? Like, Skate!
and then it landed on her lap, and then it was like dying, and she almost killed us. It was on the turnpike. This was
That's
like
good.
7 years ago, and then she's shaking, crying
my God.
because it affected her so much. And ever since then, anytime there's a moth in the house, she's like, "Get it out of And then,
Oh, that's sad.
but she still told me not to kill the moths. But we tried to kill them crazy. Although the boys
well.
aren't powerful enough to cock the bug assault.
Yeah.
So
Technically, I don't think they're supposed to.
Yeah,
be
well, it's an
handling
18 and
them.
up type deal.
yeah. Oh,
That's
they're
fine.
pointing in their face. I'm like,
Oh,
no.
my
They're
God.
I'm like, Dom, what are you? I'm
This
like,
is why the crow's mad.
Yeah.
Maisie was
Yeah,
standing
yeah.
out on our balcony with both my bug assaults, double shooting
Tank
with
girl.
with a Trump flag flying on her. Nude.
Tank
fully
girl
nude.
style.
She's a
Oh!
5-year-old.
we gotta go. Bye bye. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha Butler, my wife, are hanging out here. Caesar's even here. Caesar, try to be quiet.
So, everybody's been talking about the Netflix episode or the Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, the new episodes.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
New
like,
episodes.
and I wouldn't even say it's like a reboot. It's just like they're continuing the series in 2020.
Quite different than the original, but
Yeah.
I still like it.
Yeah.
I love the theme song. I'm so
I do too.
and
every
I
time I hear
love
it,
the
I'm
theme,
so glad.
yeah.
I love the tip of the hat to Robert Stack at
Right.
the end. That always kind of gets me because I always thought he was cool.
Yeah.
I love the show and was also terrified of it as a child.
So was I.
We watched.
We've
most
watched
of
3
them.
of
There's only
them.
one I don't really want to watch because it's just too close to us, and it makes me sad. But eventually I'll watch them all. But it's the one with Angel and Angel's brother on it.
Yeah. And
From the Monsters, like if you guys don't know
So
what
the
we're talking
original
about.
Unsolved Mysteries, of course, they did have a narrator, which was Robert Stack, but they also did a bunch of small stories per episode.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now they have no narrator, and it's one episode is one story.
Yeah.
I do wish
Which a lot of people don't like, but I liked it.
I like it. I do
You get more
wish it were the
details.
small. I enjoyed the variety of getting a bunch of them because you'd
It'd
always
usually
get
be
like,
kind of lighthearted and then a serious. Yeah.
I always liked getting UFO, ghost, murder, abduction, and then like robbery. DB Cooper or something.
Right. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that you got like a little bit of everything
Super
because like
sampler.
I'm not, admittedly, and you guys know this, I'm not a good murder show watcher, and I married one of the greatest. Apparently, you and Samantha's choices are just vile.
Oh,
and
I'm watching
disgusting to
a
me.
documentary on the Grim Sleeper right now. It's so good.
I do wish they had the narrator to break it up a little bit because in some of the episodes you're like, oh, this is just a lot of talking.
Like
about
I
the
thought the
same
See, I
UFO
liked it.
episode was boring.
It was so boring.
That
The
was my
UFO.
first episode, and I didn't pay attention to half of it.
So
God, it
yeah.
was just like I'm like you're saying the same thing.
So Samantha told us about this, and I'm like, is this a thing? So okay.
I didn't
And-
understand it. Now I understand.
And
it,
we
yeah.
could talk a little bit about the episodes and stuff. And a bunch of people reach out to us like, oh, you should have Angel on to talk about in the episode he was on.
Oh, and he
Obviously, he's
knows
in
you guys are reaching out. Like he said,
Yeah,
hey,
but-
I know a lot of the BDMs are reaching out. And then he linked me to it. And he wanted to thank all of you guys for watching it and supporting it. And maybe even if you have information,
Yeah, if
obviously,
you know
let's try and help out.
But for us, I was like, man, he's gonna be inundated with people.
Right, because
reaching out.
he's
Like,
on the morning show. They talked about it. I know
Yeah.
Jim Colbert talked about
Yeah.
it. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's
Kinda-
getting hit up left and right.
Yeah,
Like,
and- yeah.
I don't want to bother him
Yeah,
anymore.
I
than
don't
he
really think
already is.
it's our place to
but,
annoy him any more than
Right.
he's already being
Yeah,
annoyed.
and you bring up like some horrible tragedy that happened to you, and you're like re-talking about
Again
it,
and again,
and
yeah.
then this huge Unsolved Mystery series comes out that the whole world is watching, and so I'm sure everybody's calling them and like, I saw you.
And
know,
everyone's
like-
got their
Can I question?
theories.
Did he answer how? They go to Unsolved Mysteries and ask, or did Unsolved Mysteries come to them and ask?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
No idea.
That's the only question I have is how did they get his story on
Right.
Unsolved
Yeah.
Mysteries?
Well, you know what? It's probably the Unsolved Mysteries people, because there is a book about it that
Yeah.
came out a while ago that was there's some discrepancy with the lady that wrote it.
I think it's
but
Unsolved Mysteries reaching
I
out
think
because
they read the book.
Okay.
in the UFO one, the lady's pretty frank about, she's like, hey, when you guys hit us up and said you wanted to do this, I was like, not really. But then remember she says, once I found other people had sort of the same story, I was more apt to participate.
So anyway, Samantha, we were all talking about the Unsolved Mysteries, and Samantha's like, my episode 1 wasn't Angel's brother's episode.
That's weird. That was
Because I
our-
saw everyone
yeah.
saying like, "Oh, the trailers for the first episode is the one about Angel," and so I started watching, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, what is this? This isn't and his
Right.
wasn't until, honestly, I think it was like the third episode was
Yeah.
Angel's episode for me.
Ours is first.
And
I
so,
know, yeah.
so that got me thinking. I was like, wait a minute. And then I heard,
and I'm in a bunch of like murder podcast, like Facebook
yeah,
groups, and
groups.
I saw those people talking, and somebody was like, "Oh, my first episode was the French episode," and
Yeah.
and I was like, "Wow, that's so weird."
and and I heard another podcast talk about. I think it was Bill Simmons actually. They were talking about Unsolved Mysteries, and he was referring to Angel's Brothers episode as like another episode 3 or 4.
Right.
And then I was like, wait a minute, why aren't all the episodes the same
Right.
in everybody's Netflix? And then I was like, do they
Randomize it for
Or-
some
or-
algorithm.
but if it's all episode 1 for me, Travis, you guys, and for a lot of, I've seen a lot of BDMs reference like episode 1 as being Angel's Brothers episode. But does Netflix organize the episodes based on maybe
Your
your profile
likes?
or your likes or
But
something?
that doesn't
like-
make sense to me because
Yeah.
I watch more murder stuff than anybody, and they gave me the Alien one first.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
because they thought they knew they had you.
Or they're
with
like,
the
get
murder
this,
one.
yeah, they're like, get this one out of the
Yeah,
way.
that's what I'm
Maybe.
thinking. It's like eat your vegetables before you
Right,
eat your meat.
maybe.
You know, I mean,
So is there anything, look up, is there any, like, are the episodes and series of Unsolved Mysteries different for everybody, and is there a reason? Like, I'm wondering on Twitch, like, there's a bunch of people in our chat room, what was your episode 1 on Unsolved Mysteries? Because I'm curious, like,
so
is that a
yours
thing?
was not the missing person that we know, Angel's brother.
Yeah, mine was.
Yours was.
Yeah.
Mine was. Yours was.
Was not.
Yours was not. Yours was.
Mine was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the people, when I was listening to Bill Simmons, his episodes were not the same in order as mine.
Is it any different? Is it just the first one, and then it continues in a pattern, or is it?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Do you remember what your third episode?
The third episode was the Angel's
okay,
brother
UFO
episode.
was our
Yeah.
third.
Yeah,
Weird.
a bunch of people in
Very,
the chat
very
room
weird.
saying,
And somebody in one of those
Angel's
groups
first.
said the French episode was their first. That was my last episode.
Interesting.
yeah. So what is that? Is that
I don't
some-
know.
Is that something?
And you can't just Google the answer because
I'm not seeing everything's just about how it's back. I don't see anything about an
Weird.
algorithm or
Yeah, yeah.
randomizing the
Has this ever
episodes.
happened with any other show that you know of?
well, other shows are episodic,
Sequential,
are
yeah.
sequential in order, so it wouldn't work. But
It would have to be
like
another documentary stuff, like the what's the show that me, you, and Andrea are watching about like Guilty or Innocent or something. It would have to be something like
Accused.
that, where
Accused,
everything's a different
yeah.
story.
yeah, every episode
And not
would be a
related.
yeah. But weird.
Yeah, it is.
it was odd because I never would have guessed that would have been something.
I
But
kind of like Brock's answer. Brock BDM in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomADanLive. He says, Netflix running social experiments. I would like to think that they didn't say anything about it and then they did this just to gather data to see how people would react or...
because it makes sense to present the one that you think is going to hook the user the most so that they watch the others. You see what I'm saying? So
all right. Dan Paul has a good theory, too, in our Twitch chat room. Is it due to staggering streaming issues?
like, what does that mean?
Well, if, let's say, okay, so you roll out the show and you
Oh,
know a ton of
everybody
people are
is
going to
gonna-
hammer episode 1.
So you want
So
a
you
different-
leak out a different episode 1 so they're not pulling from the same, I guess, like server.
Yeah. Or so you randomize the episodes so that everybody's downloading
I
not the
didn't
same
That's
one.
weird though.
I didn't think that that's how downloading stuff works.
Yeah, you're right. Because
but
when Netflix releases, like, let's say Uncut Gems or some new movie, everybody's going to be downloading that
Right.
one at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So why would it matter if everybody downloaded the first episode and it was all the same? I'm telling you, maybe they're trying to purposely put the episode that they think the user would most like first so it could hook them the rest of the series. Something. That would be the only
Well,
explanation
that
I can think of.
algorithm is broken, according to Sam, then, because everything she watches is murder, and she
Yeah.
was given a UFO
Right.
first.
True. Well, it may not be perfect, and it could have just picked up some movie that she watched, and then that, because these algorithms are like, they're not exact.
I'm curious if
obviously.
any BDMs out of state, if they didn't get the local, like the Florida episode first, maybe Virginia maybe got something else. you
Yeah,
know?
like this podcast was located in California or whatever, so their whole episodes were different as well.
So Tuna Daddy in the chat says that he just started playing the first episode and it was about a guy named Alonzo, but when he looks at the episode list, Angel's Brothers episode is listed as episode 1. So they're playing a different episode on if he just hit play on Unsolved Mysteries, it's playing like an episode
Was it
4
shuffling 'em?
for it seems like it.
It looks like it's got a shuffle
Yeah,
playlist. If you just
weird.
hit play,
I don't-
otherwise you go to
I don't know.
specific episodes.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, when they suggest things, I have never had good luck with that, and I almost wish
My Discover Weekly is always on point.
mine. Because and you don't have kids, but because you can't link more than one Spotify account unless to your Alexa, unless you have a completely separate Alexa account. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
your
yeah.
Amazons and they don't play nice. And we've let Maisie use mine, and then Andrea will jump on mine, and it's just all like I'll be listening to punk rock, and the next Moana will pop in, and then some, then Jim Brickman's playing.
We
It's
may
like-
have found the answer. Big Fat Louise Normal Chungus
Oh.
I
posted.
like it when you call him by his legal
Full
name.
name.
Legal name.
Love and Robots apparently did the same thing, and Netflix responded, "We've never had a show like Love, Death, and Robots before, so we're trying something completely new, presenting 4 different episode orders." So yeah, they may
There you
just
go.
luck of the draw of how you get
No,
your
and they're
orders.
seeing
they'll
which one's the
collect
most
data.
popular.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
one? Okay, they'll look at. Okay, we did this episode first, this one, and we're gonna throw these all out here. And which one had a retention level that was higher than the other?
Yeah, yeah.
That then how
it
did
is a
we?
social experiment.
How did we organize this? And then they're gonna optimize how they organize in the future.
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
There's
you're
your
right.
answer.
Yeah, yeah. Huh.
Makes sense to me.
By
Yeah.
the way, amazing
Weird.
series at Love, Death, and Robots, and
It was
season 2 is
good.
getting ready to come out.
I heard that's really good. Yeah.
Another thing about Unsolved Mysteries, I do not like the aliens and the ghosts, just because to me it's I'm
You
like,
got to
come
look
on.
at it a different way. You don't look at it in like that you're trying to believe like the story.
No,
You
but
gotta-
try and figure out what it was,
Yeah,
if it was
I
an
like-
alien or a ghost.
I also just
Yeah.
like watching people say things that make them look stupid.
Okay, you're right.
So
that did it.
you got to watch like when you got like dumb old man like begging that
Yeah.
he saw a real
And then he's acting it out.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
he's
yeah,
laying
yeah.
on
like
the
when
ground.
that old man was
and, like,
rolling on
Yeah,
the floor,
yeah.
and
I'm like,
he's-
this is
and-
stupid.
and he's like, and I was paralyzed with a tractor beam,
So-
and I'm like, look at this nerd.
I also laughed when the family, I'll call them hillbillies, the hillbilly
That's
family
polite.
said
That's polite.
they're like, how we figured it out is it when we came to Meemaw was in the
Yeah.
driver's seat and she
and
never.
Mama was in the passenger,
Yeah.
and Meemaw, she never drove
Yeah,
her
yeah,
whole
yeah.
life.
And I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that these aliens that have the technology and the
and
advanced,
they said it was like a 3-hour blackout period.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a long time.
so like
It
Have
was
you-
in the 60s.
When's the last time you drank 36 Keystone beers?
they were kids.
You'll block out for about 3 hours. You'll wake up horrible headache, and then you'll drive away from the Walgreens.
so okay,
Drunk.
let's
Don't do that.
Let's write this out here. So these aliens that traveled from a different universe, right? They had the
Light
technology,
years away, Tom.
which any physicist will tell you that the technology to make that, even to use the energy that it would take to
Sure.
travel, like, close to the speed of light to get here.
It was a round silver
Yeah. Well, I know,
thing
but
hanging in the air.
they would have
Silver,
to.
copper, Andrea.
They're
We didn't
such
pay
an
attention.
advanced society or an intelligence that that human beings can't even figure out how that would be possible enough to be in a small spaceship to use the energy. Anyway,
Sure.
so they're that advanced. They came here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They
went to Massachusetts.
They went to Massachusetts. They stole these people, or like
They
beamed them up.
They wanted to study them. Yeah.
To study them, which for what again? They would understand what humans are pretty easily. They were just an animal, just a more evolved animal.
Jackpot, look down. There's an old lady, a lady, and then another, just a male hillbilly in a car. Stop the ship.
By the way, if to spend so
They're
much,
like, jackpot, we found them all in one Buick LeSabre.
yeah. So, by the way, you could easily have just taken them and then obliterated them to nothing.
That's what
and
I
then,
would have done.
Study them.
Why put them back?
Yeah. So
yes, they can rat on you.
Yeah, why
yeah.
put them back? I
Yeah.
would torture them.
Oh yeah, there would be no point anyway. So
Or eat them.
So you did all this. You had the technology and all to travel here, whatever, and then you put the hillbillies back in the car and you switched the Meemaw.
You idiot! You didn't put the Mima behind. You put the effing Mima behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Bleep blop, you're a fool.
Yeah.
Fired.
Yeah.
Okay, a few things about
Stupid.
that episode. The one guy that was in the back seat of that car, he's sitting in a.
he had the greatest.
background?
He had the greatest gold necklace
yeah.
on.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
That guy
but he was like,
awesome.
I always have felt different, and just how this.
I know what he
changed
was
him.
saying though. What he was saying that he didn't want to say is he's like, I'm different in my booty hole. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say.
Something's
but he
different
did-
back
yeah,
there.
something's-
And then I like-
something's different back there.
How they went to like the historian to the chief of police, and they were all like, nobody reported it.
I also
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
the
Didn't
guy,
happen.
the most credible guy
Stupid.
that acted out, he had the finest of Tony Palmiotti, Tom and Dad hats with a
Yeah.
long comic book or VHS video news check-in clerk.
Yeah.
That long hair that he worked at
Yeah.
Video News.
Yeah.
and then the
Video
one guy at the
news.
convenience store, people are still
Had
buying.
a couple copies of Predator 2 just come in. They're still in the return box if you want to grab them.
The convenience store guy, people are still checking out and buying things like gum and their gas behind him, but he's doing an interview about how his dad got.
Oh, that guy was great.
Right.
Oh, like,
His dad was the sheriff or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, man, and it's really happened because hey, they're talking about it, man."
Yeah.
I went out there. I looked for him. I
That
never
guy,
saw
did
him.
you see that guy? He
I
was.
haven't seen this episode yet.
Oh, it's awesome. That it's got. See, you got to look
It
at it
was
like a
kind of
collection.
boring.
Of
That was the
dumb-
worst
Yeah.
one.
It was too long. Like that one
Yeah.
could have been like chunked up,
It
and
was
I feel
bloated.
like the French one could have been chunked
Oh,
up
I'd love
too.
the French
I
one.
started the French
But-
one, the murder house or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Which one was
I
that?
don't
Did
want
I
to
watch
read
that?
all that.
You fell asleep. It was so many.
Well, you
it was
can't
all
read.
captioned. Where of
'Cause it's in
course-
French.
Of course, spoiler alert. Right? The dad did it.
For sure. Well, yeah, he's missing.
So the problem
I don't
He's
know.
out there somewhere.
here's my gripe with
He's out
Unsolved
there,
Mysteries.
man.
He's out there,
With
man.
Talking about it.
There's
They're
enough.
talking about it.
I feel like there's enough unsolved deaths or murders and things like that to highlight, and you don't need the alien episode. And I understand that like some
No,
people
no, no,
believe in
you
aliens
need
and
it.
like
Can't do all murder, dude.
Right? Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
do some weird stuff.
yeah, but
It's all
but-
mysteries.
But the thing is, the mystery only relies on these hillbillies' testimonials.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, well, immediately I discredit them. So the whole mystery is shot now.
It
because
is.
the mystery relies on believing
Do
these
aliens
people.
only abduct white honkies?
Yes.
Yeah, well, they're
Okay.
they're just the people that get drunk enough and then lie to the media.
Yeah, because they're getting.
I don't
some
think that's a
publicity.
white guy thing.
I was disappointed. There's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
like
too.
Netflix. You usually give
I
me
burned
8 or
through
10.
them.
Also,
And I was
you-
like, okay.
You need
Yeah.
the UFO for the algorithm.
Yeah,
No
also-
UFO episode, no algorithm, right? Because if it's just a murder show,
There
then
wasn't a ghost
Right, and
one
there's
though this
there's
season.
ton of murder shows out there. Like you can
Right.
see all of these on 20/20,
First
48 hours,
48.
first 48. So you have to break it up and show that you are different in some way.
But if there was some physical proof beyond the testimonial of the yokel, then I'm maybe back in, because then I can go, like Samantha said, find out what actually happened. So it's like if they were like, this person had burns on the side of their
the
body
guy's
and the woke.
painting wasn't enough.
Because then it's
poor
just like,
man's painting.
and it's from
He's
a-
like, I really needed to do that, man. And he's looking at it, and he's like,
Yeah.
it's like it just came out of me. I'm like, that's terrible.
Like, there's
my
some-
daughter could draw better than that.
there's some bizarre
I mean, you're like
old
50 years old.
like structures that they can't explain, like ancient structures, or how like ancient people built certain things, and like they there's a lot of alien theories and like stuff that's actually there. It's like, well,
Maybe we're getting there once we get to the
Yeah.
hillbillies.
But-
Plus, they've done a lot of those already in the past.
I know, but just the hillbilly being like, I was abducted, I swear to you, and it's like, all right, I don't believe it. So case closed.
Well, I don't know, man. There's so much stuff coming out now
Yeah.
with like the Navy releasing videos of
well, they put that in
unidentified
the
flying
they put
objects.
that in
yeah.
the series. The one
So that people are interested. People
There-
are going to watch it.
I only have one part of this that I dislike. It's when older people are telling the story. It hurts my heart a little more. When it's dumb, big fat blob comic book dum dum, like when it's
Yeah.
that guy,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it because I'm just like, you're young enough. I'll make fun of you. It's fine. But when it's an old lady and she's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't want you to die thinking that actually happened to you.
Yeah.
That's sad, right?
Or
She's come to terms with
if
it.
a person was missing, then then they believed he was abducted by aliens, then I could at least come up with my own theories of how he really was,
Right.
gone
Gone
missing. Or
missing.
so something. I don't like hey, aliens abducted me, and then now I'm back perfectly fine. I swear it happened. Unsolved mystery. I solved it. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
So that's 100%. And let's go on from there.
I also like
Fire in
that
the
they.
sky, bro.
The other reason I like this particular episode of Unsolved was that they actually call the people out for having stupid stories when they go and they check the record of anything happening that day. And nothing happened. And they're like, well, I mean, and they leave it up to you to go like, oh, of course, those people are all liars.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the police are like, here's the records, nothing happened.
Yeah,
and then he mocks them. He goes through, he's like, well, we had a guy who found beer cans on his yard.
Yeah.
He's mocking them, that's why I enjoyed that one. Still, it was the slowest one.
It was.
It wasn't
I had
very.
to power through that one to get all the good stuff.
Also, and then when they interview the kids that are now grown, and then they're testifying, like, you're just saying what your parents told you happened, and
Correct.
then human memory is horribly flawed. So you could have false memories.
I'm a walking testament.
Yeah. Like someone could tell you, like
Bad.
your parents could tell you what happened some night, and then you could create a memory in your head and then tell someone.
That goes the other way too.
Oh no, of course, yeah. And so it's just that's why we should never have or really put a lot of credit into
eyewitness
statements. And there's tons of people that are in jail right now because someone missaw something or and they've proved it multiple times that this is a horrible reference for any sort of evidence. And so that's why I was like, stupid. The alien one, give me some real unsolved mystery.
Give me some good old American murder, man.
Besides from the alien one, it is a good show.
Which one was your favorite, Sam? You said the French one?
The French one, probably. Yeah.
What'd you like the best?
Well, we've only watched 3. Alien, the Patrice.
Or the
one.
lady that killed her husbands and got away with it.
It's
and
weird.
Last night I wanted to watch In the Kitchen with David, but she wanted to watch Ozark.
I went back to Ozark.
So I just went to bed.
I'm behind. I haven't.
Oh, you haven't got to the end of Ozark?
No. I'm
So good.
just starting the 2nd season.
Oh,
I'm that far behind.
She's watching Ozark.
But I did other stuff. I did Sweet Magnolias before that.
I did that. That's not bad.
You know what's ruining? I watched all of Ozark, and then last night we were just
Skimming,
the searching, and
Hobnobbing.
then I went to Arrested Development. I was like, this is just for a couple episodes, or whatever. And then now watching Jason Bateman and Arrested Development, I can't get Ozark Jason
Marty,
Bateman. I'm like, this
It's
guy's a hardcore.
It's
Money
hard.
laundering.
Money laundering murder.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then they say, I can't go back and forth. You get typecast if you're so into Ozark.
I think a
started
lot of people
binging it.
didn't start Ozark because they didn't like Jason Bateman's snarkiness and stuff, and they couldn't see him as that kind of character.
Maybe he does a good job.
I
the other
don't
way.
like it. Yeah, because I'm so much of I was a full buy every season, watch every season Arrested Development guy, right?
Yeah.
And Dodgeball, and so I'm that.
And now you're in this serious
Can't
character.
do it. No,
Yeah,
that's why I don't
Daniel's
like the
never
show.
watched it,
I know.
so-
I know what happens. I've watched a couple episodes. I like funny Jason
Right.
Bateman. I don't like hardcore murdering.
If Daniel and I need something light, we'll go to American Housewife or Modern
good.
Family. We're super behind on those, so we'll just go to
But
those.
if I want something really light, which I'm gonna watch tonight because you got to do Ozark tonight, Down Home with David.
QVC.
God.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
do
I
some
find
QVC.
When we do QVC, I'm on my phone a lot more. I'll still scroll because I'm not engaged.
Yeah.
Oh,
With Ozark, I
like
sit there
I
on my
am. I'm like
phone.
I sit there literally
with the phone in his
like
hand,
it's
ready to buy.
1950 and I'm a young boy with a flat top watching Ed Sullivan. I'm looking up. I'm like, when are the Beatles gonna be on? I'm just like, please.
You need to start ordering stuff.
I want to. Micro won't let me.
You just start ordering it and
I want.
just go
There's some stuff
full-blown.
on there.
There are some stuff I've almost pulled the trigger on. I'm like
Like
what am I
lately?
doing?
I want a Foodie Ninja, number one. I'm going to get a Foodie Ninja. Last night, I heard you changed the channel.
I
I was
did,
just
real
falling
quick.
asleep when David had just rolled out. They have a new color of La Crusade, Dutch oven. They have it in traditional flame, and then they also had it in a new periwinkle, Sailor Periwinkle.
I You guys,
It's like a blue color.
you guys have to see this Airbnb that we're staying in at now because the lady decorated the inside, like I said, like a old Perry. But
Old Perry.
I bet your wife loves it then.
she went for like Paris / haunted house because there's a bunch of black chandeliers everywhere.
Oh, gothic look. All
Like
right,
gothic,
I like it.
There's in the bathroom. There's a gothic chandelier, and then there's painting random obscure paintings, and then Tommy above my bed.
Airbnb.
There's a little shelf with like a vase and a fake flower, and then a tiny picture.
It's a tiny picture of a little bike.
Of like the Brooklyn Bridge and the 1910, and then
Brooklyn Bridge.
and then on the back is like in cursive. It's something.
Myanmar.
It's bizarre. Like there's a.
Can you take pictures of it?
I will. There's a in the kitchen.
With
it's
David.
it's a small house.
Sometimes I sit in the kitchen and I smoke only one cigarette.
There's a 7-foot by 4-foot
Frankenstein.
poster that's framed of two like it looks like two French women, like
Paint me like one of your French.
but I think one of them is a man, but it's like obscure, and then a cherub holding a wine glass up to the lips. It's bizarre.
The god of wine.
And then some French. It's bizarre, the whole thing. Then there's what looks like, you remember the guy from Ghostbusters?
Which one? There's a lot of men in
The
that movie.
painting that went
Slimer?
alive. No.
Slimer.
the guy
Gazul or whatever.
Gazul.
What's his name? It's him. Like it's like
the guy in the painting.
yeah, the guy in the painting.
Yeah, the
Ghostbusters too.
Ghostbusters painting.
It's like that guy.
Gazul.
They said Zool.
Zool.
It's
Not Gazul.
That's not
No,
Zool.
it's
Zool's off of
Vigo.
one.
Vigo. Zool's one.
Yeah.
Vigo.
And then there's him
Gazul.
with a French woman and a brassiere. It's bizarre. The whole thing. I'm like, what is this? Like it's crazy.
Mommy, Daddy, where did you bring me?
Yeah. And then there's a tic-tac-toe, but a metal tic-tac-toe.
Oh, wow. That's how for only hardcore tic-tac-toers.
Have your boys broken anything yet?
Almost. There's a giant tin rooster that they knocked
Oh,
over.
don't knock over the
The
rooster.
Tin Rooster.
Yeah. Everything's
Come on
glass.
down to the tin rooster.
Big old cock.
We can't say
Can't say that.
Butler.
You definitely can't say that.
It's a rooster.
Big old cock. Mega cock.
Come on. Why would you think that's appropriate? You come and sit down. I'm like, wait for it.
He hasn't said a damn thing.
Guys, me, Butler, sales, Butler with sales. I'd like to chime in. Big old cock.
What? So much extra work for nothing. Anyway, all right.
Let's take a break.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, we have Colton on the line, and is that how we're? That's how we're starting the show now, right?
You're right.
Or
Do it.
I don't
Starting
think
cold.
I don't think it works that way. Like
We don't need to tell everybody this is a
Yeah.
corporate time. You know it.
This is like one of those Netflix, like social experiments where for the last 2 weeks we've been ending the show by just going
Bye.
that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Yeah, see, we all have a little bit different bye bye. Bye bye. That's how we end. But I thought it would be fun today to just go hello and start, and then just go right to it. But
Yeah.
anyway, this is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
Tom. So a while back, I put out a message to BDMs and to whoever. I think I talked about it on this show.
Okay.
That if you wanted to do a segment, feel free and you let us know. Email us.
Now I
and-
can't figure out whether or not this is you wanting actual listeners to provide us with content.
Yeah.
Or if this is you wanting to use the threat of other listeners giving us content to bully EJ,
Right.
Canadian
Oh,
Josh,
yeah.
Tuttle, these
That's part of
different
it too,
like
yeah.
people, Remy, Joey, these
yeah.
people.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I feel like
it's for bullying. Yeah, it's all for
And for
evil.
lazy.
so it's
Yeah.
lazy bullying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Like,
We're done.
I figured
we
it
don't
out.
even let Colton do. So anyway, and surprisingly, a lot of people are big talkers. They're like,
Yeah.
I can do it, but no, the very few people. In fact, Colton and maybe one other
One
person,
other guy, yeah.
emailed us saying that I'll do a bit, and and here's the thing, like, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to be a monthly bit like a Canadian Josh. He had to
Sure.
work hard
Yeah.
to keep reminding us.
Well,
and,
even the chat room, we're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. Let's see, we got Zane checking in saying, Canadian Josh, I feel, is the most legit. Josh gets a lot of love because I will say, when it comes to the way that he presents his segment, it is really well polished.
He does his research.
He does.
He sounds very positive.
Yeah, and he
Great
does, like,
voice.
he calls in, he says, Tom, you choose the topics. Oh, next week. Oh, Sam, you
He's
choose
prepared.
the topic. He's prepared. EJ, I will say, EJ is also liked. He is also liked. He is more good than bad, but a little less organized, a little more fly by the seat of your pants. He's got the haircut of something about Mary's brother, Owen. I believe it's Owen, the special needs brother.
And I think he leans heavy in the fact that he's our buddy. We know him, so he's like, it's kind of like
he really gets, like,
he's
think
effing off. He's not
he
perfect.
needs the segment, I think, to not kill himself.
Yeah.
Whereas Canadian Josh is actually trying to give us a good segment.
Yeah.
And now we have another one of your pet projects. Enter in who appears to be a young baby boy.
His business baby.
Business baby.
Okay, so on the line right now, he was known as Colton, but we have changed his name to the Business Baby. I'm fairly certain we're going to get sued by Alec Baldwin and Boss Baby movie.
No.
But
It's
on the
different.
line with us right now is Business Baby. Business Baby, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Hey, guys.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yes, sir.
So Colton, what made you decide to email us, and what was the drive to have your own segment on a corporate
What's
time?
the motivation here, Colton?
Well, I've been listening for a while, and I heard Tom bring up that he wanted a new segment. It was always challenging the listeners, and I know he likes business, and that's a little bit of my background, and I thought it was something I can contribute to the show.
Okay,
all right, cool.
I will say that just listening to your voice right now, it makes me feel like I'm dragging my body down the street with just the power of my arms. It's hard. It's hard to
that's fine,
Have
though.
you been partying or screaming? Like you sound
so soft-spoken.
every word you say sounds like that man that Diamond Dallas Page taught how to walk again.
Oh yeah.
That war veteran.
Yeah.
You sound like I feel like I'm teaching Forrest Gump how to walk out of his braces.
Business Baby. Have you been partying a lot lately? You have a party
He's all
girl
business.
voice.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you? No, just coming over a little bit of a cold.
I know what that means.
You got COVID.
Ventilator business baby. Oh my God! See, this is why you wear a mask. You turn around, there's a baby on the ground trying to give you business advice. He coughs on you one time. Next thing you know, you're pushing up Daisy.
So now Colton is.
Hold on, COVID-19. I blow.
Now, you're entering in a sacred fraternity of listeners here that have their own segments. I mean, these people, once they get their segment, I mean, the fame and fortune is overwhelming.
Yeah.
It changes their lives. I mean, EJ, like
He doesn't have the fortune yet.
Yeah,
But,
well,
waiting to get that fence.
that's all a set. It looks like he's sitting in like a janitor's closet or a copy room, or
It is definitely a copy room.
and it looks like he's poor with his clothing and his
his horrible
appearance.
He has like the haircut of a cartoon giant,
Yeah.
or maybe a blacksmith that works at a village.
But that's all on purpose. That's all a set. The makeup artists make him look disheveled and disgusting.
Yeah, he looks like the king's big dumb special needs son that you lock in the tower.
Yeah. And then now Canadian Josh, rich and famous, all from the power
With his
of
two
our
sons.
show.
His two sons. And I feel secretly the Canadian Josh is grooming his sons to do like maybe a kid segment or something.
So
because he mentions them a lot.
So Colton, are you prepared for what's going to happen next after you do your first segment? Because this is going to, it's going to rock you
What
to
is
the
this?
stars.
Yeah, what is this called? So it's Business Baby,
Yeah.
what is it? Tips from the crib?
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know. Why,
Tips from the.
what were you thinking, Colton?
What's the name of your
Yeah,
segment?
pitch it to us like you're a pitchman.
Give us the pitch, baby.
I like Business Baby. You know, the news scoop maybe.
The news scoop.
The new scoop with Business Baby.
No, he wanted business,
Yeah.
but he like.
Oh.
I also like.
By the way, you don't like Business Baby. We hear it.
Yeah.
We know you.
I can hear how disgusted you are, and I can also hear that you thought this was a good idea, and now we've killed your dream, and it's a bad idea because we're making fun of you.
You're
and,
instantly regretting the
and
decision.
I'm not sure he can hang.
No, he can hang. Business Baby's tough.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound tough. He's also got that weird. Every other word, he'll pause and think about what he has to say, but then what falls out of his mouth isn't that great. It's called the Shannon Burke. And,
Come on, how dare you.
And you're like these weird pregnant pauses, and then Business Baby, you're going to have to. I almost feel like and I don't condone this, but I almost feel like I need to knock you around a little bit, get some energy in.
Yeah. This is like podcast boot camp. Like we get you in there, we tear gas, we put you naked, nut to butt, and then we break you down, and then
And now we're going to build you back up in our image.
Yeah. Sorry, Business Baby.
Why are you apologizing to him? We haven't even given him anything yet.
Yeah, you're right.
The Business Baby report.
Well, all I do is keep looking over the clock, and I'm like, killing time, killing time. Come on, Business Baby. Make those pauses bigger and longer. I don't care.
We're like, all right, it's already 8 minutes in. We haven't done anything.
We haven't got any business
Oh,
news
yeah.
yet.
But that's always the thing. We get to the end, we're like, well, we'll be in touch. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Sorry.
Don't give out our formulas.
So, Colton, so this segment is going to be about...
It's called News Scoop
News
with the Business Baby.
Yeah.
News Scoop with Business Baby. Now, what kind of business are we talking about?
For this one, I went on the Wall Street Journal this morning and just picked 4 articles I thought that were interesting that could add value to the listeners.
Taking the EJ approach. I like it.
Yeah. Just go to one source.
That one. That's called the dartboard.
Yeah. All right. So now, if you're listening to the show, you'll realize you'll do this bit for probably years before we actually get a theme song. I was just talking about theme songs.
Yeah.
For,
You're running Pariah Mike ragged, by the way.
But I wanted to talk to you about that. It's like you've already committed like 9 to 10 theme songs of things that I don't even think are going to ever happen again.
Yeah. No, yeah. I know.
Like the title thing, not going to happen again.
That's my new thing. Is like
one-time
extreme
bits.
waste. Yeah. One-time bits.
One-time bits. Disposable bits.
So, all right, Business Baby.
Should we just let him do a cold tryout?
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. We don't have a business segment, and you're right. I am a fan of business. Really, more of the money that comes with business.
Right.
Like if you tell me about other business that has nothing to do with me making any money, I just kind of
shut down. Yeah.
Space out and don't listen anymore
Yeah.
because what do I care? But here we go. Let's start with story number 1. Oh.
That's you, Business Baby. That's your
Awesome.
cue.
Okay.
to town. Business Baby coming to town. I read the Wall Street Journal this morning. I got a cool story to tell you. So here's Business Baby with the news scoop. Oh, I just took a poop.
And I thought you were gonna say the Wuhan flu.
Business Baby has the Wuhan flu. There you go.
Thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome, Business Baby. Take it away.
So the first, they're all from the Wall Street Journal. So the first article is titled "The COVID Retail Shakeout: Who's Closing and Who's Opening Stores." So this is a consolidated who is doing well and who is not in 2020.
Okay. All right.
I have a critique.
Okay.
I feel like I would feel more comfortable during this segment if he was like, my first story is from the Wall Street Journal, and I picked you know what I mean? Like, I want like a more of an authentic baby experience.
Yeah, I'm with Daniel. Like, you need to become more.
Can you
business
dress
baby.
like a baby and Skype in wearing a baby? Okay, follow me.
All right, here we go.
Jumbo diaper.
Yeah.
No shirt. Are you? What do you describe? What do you
bonnet.
look? Describe what do you look like, Business Baby?
Fat dad.
What did he say?
A fat dad.
Oh, a fat dad. Oh, you'll be great. You got a baby body then.
Yeah.
Big diaper, bonnet, and then you take a passy and you go, and then like we'll sing the business baby going it out, and then you pull out your passy and you go, ah, shucks. And if you say that, right, if you start with that, and then you go and you go, my foot toy from the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah. And I want you smoking a cigar. Cause I
like Roger Rabbit.
Okay, we might get sued if we go with.
That's fine.
Okay.
I like business babies. He's doing adult things like CEO company smoking a cigar.
Yeah, I want like. It's a bear market. I want you to say things like that.
Yeah. Like NASDAQ.
Yeah.
No idea what that is.
And then throw in a couple of not the mamas. Look at Tommy.
Loves
it. Yeah, good. 3 not the mamas.
3.
And a half NASDAQ. That's all we need.
All right. Continue.
Yeah. All right. So there's some businesses doing well and some businesses that are folding because of COVID.
Twitch chat room checking in. They say, this is from Fisher. He says, didn't know you could find someone who reads articles worse than Seth.
Well, he hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Give Business Baby a chance.
Yeah. I mean, we spent 9 minutes making fun of
they gotta get
poor Colton, and then you expect him to like smoothly go.
Actually, we've spent 13 minutes making fun. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So what businesses are doing bad and good?
Okay, and so the first category is apparel. So a lot of the companies associated with the mall. So Victoria's Secret closed 215 stores this year. Foot Locker, 82 stores. The Gap closed another 100 stores. Companies that are doing well in that category, discount stores like Burlington Coat Factory and Ross are adding stores. Then looking at the discount stores, they're doing very well. It's this article talks about being frugal is popular right now. So Dollar General added 1,000.
That's my best one ever.
Why are you doing this to Business Baby?
It's Business Baby.
Shucks.
All right, turn it back.
Come on.
Yeah. Sorry, Colton. We were bullying you more. We can't stop.
It was my greatest fade down of all time. I think it was 14 seconds.
I'm sorry, Colton. There's something about your personality and the Business Baby that makes our bullying Pappas boring crazy to the point where we can't even help ourselves.
I stand with Business Baby.
I can't think. All I see is bully in front of my eye. I can't see anything else.
Yeah. We've got nuts with the bully.
Blinded.
Yeah. So now I like your first story. I think that it could have been consolidated a little bit.
Yeah, I think the delivery can be a little snappier.
Yeah. Like
maybe more baby-esque.
Yeah. For instance, a lot of times it helps if you just throw out the overall general idea of the story and then just let us make fun of you for 4 minutes and then do another general idea. It was too long. You're listing off too many things.
And
we got
sounded
bored.
as if maybe you hadn't read it before because you were like, Victoria's Secret.
So
he's nervous, and you guys are making fun of him. Leave Business Baby alone.
I mean,
that's what happens.
This is entertainment.
This is why no one
wants to do the show.
Because they hear this, they're like, "Well, I'm not doing that. What's in it for me?
We have
had nothing out of it.
We have had the ad on Craigslist for a quote Business Baby for 3.5 years. No one has taken us up on it.
And then now after Business Baby, everybody's gonna be like, "Well, I'm not doing that. What's in it for me? I'm just gonna be clowned on by these guys."
I don't want to be clowned on.
And then I told my
but
parents and my friends,
but this is entertainment.
I'm gonna be on the radio, and then they're all listening. Your mom's listening. You're like, oh yeah. And then
you know what I tell people when they come here? They go, "Oh, your job's so easy, I can do it." You know what I tell them? I tell them this. I go, "Welcome to the booty hole." That's what I say. This ain't playtime.
Colton, did you tell your mom and everybody to listen, your friends?
No.
Oh, that's good.
Better.
That's good. So this could all be a secret, your own personal secret. Now,
I certainly would keep it a secret.
So out of all those businesses you said were closing, Colton, which
You okay?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Tom's got COVID. My God, you okay?
Yeah.
Can you taste the air? See if you can taste anything.
Nothing.
No
Drink
taste.
your Diet
Oh my
Coke,
God,
quick.
he's got no taste. Taste that Coke and make sure you can taste it. Does it still taste like Coke?
Ah, sweet poison.
Okay, good.
right,
Oh,
he's
thank
fine.
God. He's fine. All right, false alarm.
Yeah.
All right, we're good. Everybody take the mask off. It's done. It's all done.
What's business number 2?
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh yeah. Out
I'm
of all
taking
those,
my freedom business, baby.
although all those businesses, anyone surprise you, business baby?
Any surprises? I would say Walgreens and CVS are closing about 1,100 stores, and it's just, I believe it's because people aren't going to the doctors as much, and there's less subscriptions, prescriptions being written.
That one's on me. I shouldn't ask you your
No,
opinion.
you should not. He's all business. He's not opinion.
Why did I do that?
I know you speak with the speech pattern of Obama crossed with a turtle, but
Your turtle.
Tortama?
Hard to smush Obama and a turtle together.
Yeah, it would be hard.
Turbama.
Turbama.
Yeah. I guess every single business is being affected store-wise, right? Like even if you're a business, I guess the liquor stores and like ABC. And,
we had a clothing boutique on the corner here, and it put them out of business.
yeah, any retail, like people are just going to stores less. I mean, internet sales.
Well,
have
he was saying
skyrocketed.
Burlington Coat Factory and Ross are opening up a bunch of stores.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because they're
why?
trying to save. People are trying to save money at like the cheaper clothing stores.
Ah,
So you were listening to the half of Business Baby's
No, 'cause
content.
like I said, every time he talks, I just want to push his words down.
I'm blinded by bullying.
Yeah, I can't.
So what's the next story, baby?
So the next one is from the Wall Street Journal as well. Walmart missed Prime window for a subscription service, and that's okay. So Walmart's rolling out their version of Amazon Prime called Walmart Plus, and Wall Street Journal believes they missed their opportunity during COVID to release it. And there's been competition for the e-commerce industry for a while between Walmart and Amazon.
I mean, okay. Every time your voice is a little raw. Every time you talk, I swear to God, I think you're dying. Or like, you're like I'm watching like my dad talk to me from his deathbed or something.
Oh.
It's a hard listen. It's hard.
I think as time goes on, his confidence is being beaten up.
Well, yeah.
And
Well,
then,
no, it's not supposed to work that way.
Yeah, that's what
Then
we're
we
trying.
better change our parenting style.
We're trying to harden your business, baby, because soon.
But I think we're pushing you
Yeah,
away.
because you could either be hardened by a bad, tough situation or broken.
Yeah.
I think we're breaking.
I'm not
business,
trying to
baby.
break you, baby.
So I did see the story, and I thought to myself, I'm like, Walmart online. It was already a thing, but
yeah, I've used it a bunch. It's good.
But I don't think they're going to have that much of an impact to Amazon, right? At this point,
Amazon's too big and too efficient and too good at what they do.
Also, for the people,
I mean, they will if they have cheaper prices than Amazon, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're doing free overnight deliveries and stuff now.
Oh, Andrea and I used it,
Yeah.
and we've used it a couple times for like bigger items we couldn't find on Amazon. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but also Walmart makes their own products, so I
Right.
wonder if.
So does Amazon now, though, too.
Yeah,
Amazon
yeah.
Basics. Like
Yeah.
we bought May some she wanted workout gear, and we got her some. I hate to say it, but the quality was like really, really good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
And I'm sure Walmart.
Amazon has their own polos. Maybe we should talk to them about
Yeah.
getting some damn polos.
Let's do that.
I'm sure Walmart would have liked to have launched this platform at the beginning of COVID, but it probably wasn't ready. You know
But
what I'm saying?
look,
Like,
I feel like we got a lot of time to
Yeah.
sit at our homes and order stuff. So
Yeah, I wonder if this will cause them to start closing down stores if they're
Nah.
well, I mean,
People are probably
people
going
like
less.
to go to Walmart. Have
And
you
they-
been to a Walmart lately? They're not going less.
Supposedly, they're going to mandate masks at
Yep,
Walmart.
that started
and
today, I think.
I think that will cut down on the number of people that actually go. I think you'll be more
Yeah.
online. I think those people that are pissed about that
Yeah.
You know,
Or-
because look, I think don't look at your social media to get who's really out there. Yes, people are mad; they don't want to wear the mask, and the masks aren't fun. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think you're actually gonna go get into a shoving match or a fight. I think that's a rarity. I think really what you're gonna do is you're gonna be like, I don't want to wear that mask. I'm gonna go on and order online.
Yes,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
you're gonna do.
Sure, yeah.
That's Johnny everybody.
Yes, yeah. That's the majority.
Right.
You know, I mean, you see the crazy people online.
My breath stinks.
Yeah.
You did have a lot of onions.
Garlic. Holy crap,
Yeah.
it's bad.
I mean, yeah, it's
Sorry.
a pain in the butt. You know, but this has got to affect their stores. You
Sure.
know, like you're gonna.
Well,
get
they've
more
already been cutting cashiers crazy.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah,
have
yeah.
like 1, maybe 2 cashiers. Everything else is self-checkout at,
Yeah.
at
I
Walmart
like
now.
self-checkout.
'Cause-
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with
if they actually work.
Well, I'm sure Walmart's looking at Amazon and saying, just like terrestrial radio looks at podcasts, and they're like, man, I wish we could operate with such little overhead like they do. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so Amazon doesn't have any brick and mortar stores, but they have like just distribution centers. So Walmart's probably like, man, if we can just cut out all these employees and these brick and mortar stores and have more of a distribution center, it would be way cheaper for us to do business, and then we can be on the same level as
Yeah.
Amazon. And it's not like you go to Walmart for the great customer service, even though it's fine and whatever. But it's not. That's not what they're known for. They're known for crazy low prices, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So
Everyday low prices?
yeah. So,
Thanks.
and it's not like you're going into Walmart to enjoy the experience of Walmart. Like, let's be honest. It's
Only
like,
people like me like that, and that's because I like weird things.
yeah. We got time for one more story, business baby. But so far, so good.
Really?
Too good. Well,
He's,
I
it's
can't
his
be
first
mean,
time.
dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give
Alright.
Business Baby a chance.
Fair enough.
All right, the next story is Harley Davidson to cut 13% of global workforce. So Harley has, not only are they struggling in COVID because they weren't able to open their retail locations prior to COVID, they're kind of struggling to get the younger demographic to purchase motorcycles, and their stock price has been down, I think, 60% since 2014. And they separated from their CFO. So it's kind of a crossroads for Harley, and what are they going to do to be successful in the future?
Yeah. A buddy of mine is a Harley mechanic, and we've talked about this a lot. And he's told me that Harley Davidson's been trying to appeal to the younger generation.
It's hard, man.
And
They got to pivot, yeah.
and they've been like really struggling to compete with Indians.
They're like
because-
the James Gandolfini of motorcycles in the fact that they are as typecast as you can get.
Yes. Yeah.
Stuck in their ways normally.
Yeah.
Their logo is synonymous with old man biker,
Yeah,
right?
it kind of is.
And so it's
They got to have more of a modern look to the bikes. Or
and I'm
people
a
aren't gonna buy
fan.
'em.
You know, like I really, really like Harleys, but
the brand, they did themselves a disservice by being so brand engaged by a certain demographic that demographic is dying out.
Yeah.
They're aging out, and then they're like, oh man, the younger demographic associates our brand with the old guys, and then they're going after the Indians and the other brands because they're thinking, oh, I don't want to ride a Harley. That's for my dad.
well, also price point too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a premium bike. It is a, when you're going to buy one, you're not gonna spend any less than 10 G's.
Yeah.
And that's on a little bike.
Yeah.
A tiny bike.
They kind of did what Hooters did, where they were stuck like into a time period,
Yeah.
or like they were most popular during a certain time period,
Yeah.
and then all that demo is aging out and dying off.
Not to even mention this, but I'll throw it out there. I mean, just even from a reliability aspect, I love Harleys, and every Harley I've had, because I maintain it and ride it correctly, has been reliable. But I will say the most reliable motorcycle, or rather scooter, that I've ever had is my Honda. It is literally an unkillable, undestroyable scooter. The thing is the absolute most reliable. That thing is more reliable than a new car I have right now.
Yeah.
It is my most reliable vehicle. It cannot be killed.
Yeah.
And it's cheap.
Yeah, I don't know how a brand like Harley Davidson comes back and starts getting younger generations interested into their product.
Yeah,
They
we
don't-
have some people in the know in our Twitch chat room, and this particular person makes an excellent point in saying that it can be a very difficult pill to swallow if you are trying to take an iconic brand whose price point for a, let's say an entry-level Sportster. I don't even know what models they have now, but let's just throw 10K on it. It's probably going to be close to that, especially if you get a
At
decent
least,
one.
yeah.
I don't know anybody who's a millennial right now that's of that age, let's say 25-year-old guy that you just can walk out right now and be like, yep, that's the one I'm buying.
Yeah.
As a full-time means of transportation, maybe, but not as a hobby.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
way too pricey, man. That's
And-
really expensive.
And they'd probably rather go with a brand like Indian or something else that's considered cooler or more in their demo
And
because
you-
the Harley
yeah,
Davidson
and-
brand is like, that's for my old
And
man.
this person's also sharing, and she says 10K used. Correct.
Yeah.
Right, they're expensive.
Yeah, they are, and they're like Rolexes to a point where if you do have a really good one, it's well maintained and ridden all the time. It does hold its value.
Yeah.
But if there's nobody there to buy it,
And they leaned heavy on their merch stores and all their apparel and stuff. I think God, my buddy told me that like.
and maybe I misspoke. I said millennial, and somebody's saying 25 is millennial. Yeah, I'm just saying younger person. Just go with that. I don't know all the.
yeah.
There's Y and
Yeah.
X and millennial
It's like
and
under 40,
genennials. Yeah.
under 35.
Younger than me. Just go with
Yeah,
that.
and so they've relied so heavy on all their apparel stuff that you're right. When COVID hit and they had to shut down their only apparel stores, that hit them hard. Plus, people aren't just wandering in all the other dealerships buying apparel. Like I think my buddy told me that their apparel sales accounted for like 25% of their total gross.
No, it's more than
revenue.
that.
Dude,
Something
I
like
know a ton of people that wear it that don't own a
No,
motorcycle.
it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's
Something's
it's
crazy
more than.
amount, yeah.
I think it's more than 25%.
Yeah, but I mean, in a like a motorcycle dealership, like a showroom, like more people buy the damn
Yeah.
clothes than the bikes themselves.
100%.
Crazy. So, all right, business baby, you got through your first segment. How do you feel you did?
I think I did great.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah,
confidence.
I like his confidence, too.
I like your,
Here's the thing about me. I would say, I'm just going to be real with you, business baby. I'm probably the Simon Cowell of the three of us.
Yeah.
I thought you did terrible. but
Oh.
the fact that you ended saying, I thought I did great, makes me change my mind to think you did great.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how I work. Because I'm
yeah.
like, I like his confidence. I like, he's, let's do it again.
Yeah. Technically, Daniel's right. It was horrible, but we saved it, and then now we're so narcissistic.
Yeah.
We think this segment's great now.
Thank you.
Because-
because we believe that everything we put out, good or bad, is amazing.
Yeah, and us bullying you was so good, it makes your segment great, and therefore we'll let you do it again next month, business baby.
Yeah, and the other thing is once we hang up here, we'll have a conversation between the two of us about, and for a long time, we'll be like, no one else can do this. No one else can do this. We're the only guys that can do this.
Yeah,
no one
yeah,
else can
yeah.
talk like this. No one else
Yeah,
can
yeah.
take
We're like, we're the
just a
kings.
Colton. We made a character, a business baby. We created this whole thing.
Yeah, then we'll sit back and I'll read an article.
We're
like,
so good.
Joe Rogan made $100 million. It was like everybody else is way more
And then for a
successful
split
and rich
second, I'll be like,
than
should we
us.
cancel that business baby guy that with no, like really zero direction, not a good voice, doesn't have good
Oh,
articles.
how dare you?
Yeah.
I love Business
His
Baby's
speech
voice.
pattern is hard to listen to.
Take
It's like
too long.
gargling gravel.
Yeah.
The listeners hated him, and then I'm like, should we cancel that? I'm like, nah.
Yeah, then we'll forget. Then Samantha will be like, it's business baby again. And we're like, oh! Then we'll be mad. Then we'll be happy when we talk to you. Back to bullying. And this will all
Endless
keep on
cycle,
going.
yeah.
Well, no, around the fifth one, we'll just forget about you, and then the calls will dry up.
Oh, yeah. Do you have anything to plug, business baby? Is there anything in it for you?
No.
All right, just
See, that's why I like him.
yeah. Nothing to plug, nothing
Yeah.
at all, anything. You're.
Are you married? Are you married? Are you a married baby?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have babies?
Is this baby's having babies?
Yeah.
Babyception?
Do you have babies?
One baby.
No. All right.
How old is your baby, baby?
Baby's baby is 3.
No. Okay.
Now he's talking about himself in third person. I don't know how this works.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that you like it so much. You're taking the
Yeah.
power away, and it's making me mad.
Yeah, I always feel like there's a prank being played here.
Yeah, because a bully needs A bully's power is the misery of their victims.
Yeah,
like,
if you enjoy this, then I'm afraid we're gonna have to cancel your bet.
yeah, like when I'm flushing the nerd's head in the toilet, him screaming, "Please
My
stop."
hair has never been cleaner.
I'd be
Yeah,
mad.
you're like, no, you took the power away. Then it doesn't make.
Oh,
me
I did that. Hey, Colton, I'm gonna hang up on you now. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, business baby.
I did our joke. I
What?
did our joke this morning. You know the guy that pulled the gun out in Walmart?
Well, no, I
You didn't hear
know.
that story?
No,
Okay,
no.
I guess it was like a mask altercation where he was pushing a guy in a wheelchair, and then somebody with a mask said something about him. He didn't have a mask on, the guy pushing the wheelchair.
Okay.
And said something to him, and then you can see on the video footage that the guy pushing the wheelchair without the mask gets mad and pulls a gun out.
That's
Okay.
good.
And then everybody's just melting in all the comments, and I wrote underneath there, and I haven't been doing this. I wrote underneath there, "Put your mask on, nerd. He's going to shoot me. This nerd's got a gun." And I wrote the whole thing out, and people were laughing and giving me likes, and now I understand why you troll. I got addicted to
Power,
that, and I was
yeah.
getting hearts and laughter faces, and I'm like, this is what you do, and you make fun of the guy with a gun. I'm like, look at that dumb nerd with a gun. Everybody's like, get him. And I'm like, I'm not wearing my mask. And everybody's giving me likes, and I'm like,
I like it.
now I understand why people like this so much.
I like the guy that's pushing a wheelchair, no mask, and then they're like, "Put on a mask." He's like, "I'll kill everyone."
It's insane.
You escalate that.
Meanwhile,
fast.
Pete
you gotta
Paul
look
is
at
just
him,
trying to
too.
get out of there.
You gotta look at him too. He's got black Reeboks on and tidy shorts, and he's got a shirt on with the back of it's just a big American flag.
yeah.
But everybody's carrying just tiny guns.
Yeah,
If you're gonna pull guns out, guys, you gotta pull big guns. Tiny guns just look weird.
Yeah.
And don't put your finger on the trigger. That's bad trigger awareness.
Also seems like you escalated the situation pretty quickly when you
Yeah.
could have just pushed your pop out of
the hell out of there.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. You get thin skin for someone who's packing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be a little tougher than just. You're gonna pull a gun on someone, yelling at you for not wearing a mask. Just ignore them. Keep pushing.
Yeah, I
your-
guess he threatened to kill the guy too. He's like, I will kill you.
yeah. Yeah. That seems pretty.
Now, here was my question:
over-aggressive,
was the
bro.
person in the wheelchair wearing a mask? That was my question, right?
Yeah.
Because I would imagine if
It'd
you're in
be
a
funnier.
wheelchair, you would be more likely to be immune compromised,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Or you're.
So that was my
you're
number one
old,
question.
You're weak. Yeah.
My number one question was
Because if maybe he was responsible enough to put the mask on his pop pop,
Right,
And
thank
then,
you.
and then he's like, I'm tough. I don't need a mask. And then,
or maybe he had to choose.
but if you're so tough,
Maybe he had to
then
choose.
just
Maybe he's
keep
like,
moving.
My pockets are stuffed. I got room for one thing:
Yeah.
gun or mask. Gun.
because if you get so offended or mad by someone just calling you out, then they're not that tough, right? Or at least emotionally.
Well, if something like that makes you feel like you need to pull a gun out, you probably shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah.
You're too much of a hothead.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
Business baby.
business baby. All right.
All right.
This nerd's got a gun. All
We'll
right.
see. Okay, here's
We'll
the
take a
test.
break.
We won't email back business baby. We'll see if he wants round two because
So you're gonna-
maybe
you're
it
gonna
did go.
test how much he wants it.
Yeah,
'Cause
you got to contact me.
In his mind, he may have fantasized that it was going to go great. He was going to read the
I
stories.
think he thought it did go great.
I think he thinks it did go great.
There's room for improvement.
My only problem with it was that I like things to
Snappier.
move.
Yeah.
I get bored easily. That's my fault though. Like maybe I'm wrong.
No, it needs to be snappy.
I like snappy.
Like take a page from Canadian Josh.
I
Like,
can't stand my breath, man. These onions.
You got to get a breath mint.
It's bad. Anybody got a mint?
Yeah.
I
Canadian
got
Josh.
gum.
He calls us. He's super. His
And he contacts me every month,
He's
like
a-
the first of the month.
He's always like, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
Canadian Josh,
Yeah.
he's upbeat. He presents two stories, and we get to
you.
choose. So that's
my
better.
God.
You know what I'm
Thank you,
saying?
sweetheart.
So present the headlines.
Yeah,
write
sell
them
us
out.
the sizzle.
Yeah, just pick two because most of the time we're just gonna be bullying you or
Mm-hmm.
just going off some crazy tangent about like divorce or killing ourselves. You know.
Yeah.
We only
The
got
typical. We
we
only
got
got
a couple
two. Divorce, kill yourself.
yeah. At this point, you
The
know.
funny thing
you know what
is,
you're
if
getting.
we were to name ourselves, both of us,
Yeah.
on what we're most likely to do, you would be divorced and I would be kill
yeah.
myself.
We could. Yeah. We could come out with a T-shirt.
It's very grim.
Yeah.
People don't like stuff like that sometimes.
What's on the brim of your hat? What does it say?
It says Railer.
Oh, okay.
My
What do you think
Lagwagon
is
hat.
a-
That's the newest Lagwagon album.
Oh, Railer?
You haven't seen it? It's
No.
the guy where it's a dad riding blades and he's grinding on a skate park. It's awesome. You haven't seen that? Here, I'll
No.
show you before we get a
I gotta,
break.
yeah, I gotta get the new Lagwagon.
It's so good. It's my favorite Lagwagon album.
Really?
Yeah. That and
Did they just come out with it?
Nah, last year. Look at this
Okay.
rad
Oh,
dad.
maybe I
Look at
know.
this dude. Look at him go.
yeah.
Oh, look at that guy. He's so cool.
Yeah. The old.
And look at this. The skate guys are like giving thumbs down. They're like, boo. I love it. We'll take a little break. We'll come back and finish out more of A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producers here. During the break, we were talking about a story that broke a couple of days ago about, I guess, insane corruption within the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
Which will no longer be the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, they still haven't announced a name yet.
I heard they were thinking about Red Tails. It's
There's
hard.
a bunch of different ones that
Yeah,
are floating around,
it
but
is.
nothing official
It's
yet.
difficult.
because there's so many jokes out there.
I would imagine that after this story, because Sam was giving us little bits and pieces, man, I'd almost go and like red whatever. You got to flush that down the toilet and
Keep
start
red out of it.
brand new. You got to go brand new.
Or maybe this is
Just move it.
This is the catalyst to them selling the
Yeah.
franchise.
I would.
Because it's interesting.
Oh, everybody in the chat room still likes me and Samantha's Washington potato skins.
I do, yeah. That's good.
I have heard that like NFL franchises never go up for sale or so rare. Like and most like sports team franchises, except for like maybe MLS new. You know,
Well, it was like the name of the article was something like the most exclusive club in the world.
Yes,
or so,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
talking about how like it's in the article I think you're talking about. They said it was actually easier to get an FCC radio station license than it ever would be to get an NFL team franchise.
Yeah. So Matt, our buddy Matt, Cabin Boy Matt, sent me a text.
Yeah, he was one of the judges of Gapetoberfest. I think it was
Never forget.
2013. Never
Yeah,
forget. Gapetoberfest 2013.
I'm
Head judge.
I'm gonna text him. We just talked about Gapetoberfest.
Yeah,
again.
tell him.
You reminded us.
Yeah.
But he said, dude, are you seeing the stuff going on with Dan Snyder?
Text back. It's almost as bad as when you were a judge for Miss Gapetoberfest.
I will. I'll tell
Okay,
him.
bully him. It's the
But
theme of the show.
I guess the Washington Post is getting ready to release a story, and there's tons of rumors about bad stuff going on within the organization and how they're blackmailing people and keeping things silent and like sexual abuse allegations and all this
And then
stuff.
there was like
And this dude-
sex for scoops, hiding affairs from wives of players, using information to
Sexual
blackmail.
assault,
Which they
said-
did to Jay
racism.
Gruden.
Yeah,
because
they're-
we saw it. Remember when Jay Gruden got fired? All of a sudden, they released the TMZ, released a
Well,
video.
today, apparently, the Washington Post is prepared to release a report about the team and about Dan Snyder that, quote, will break the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They haven't put it out yet, but yeah.
Here's the problem with it is that there's so much like news and bad stories and stuff. Like it'll be a hot story for 2 weeks, maybe less. But if enough sponsors and stuff pull out, like they're screwed. You know, like they rely really heavy, especially now with no attendance. And the Redskins' attendance was poor anyway. So now you take away.
Ooh, wait, one more. They've pulled all because they're doing a name change and a name that this might be the perfect storm of real bad. Follow me with this.
I can't wait to bet against them. By the way,
They follow me with this. They've already reported, and they've been reporting this for years, that bigger retailers around that area were already pressured to not sell Redskins merchandise.
Yeah.
It's next to impossible to find some of that stuff sometimes. I mean, sometimes you can find it. It really depends on the retailer. But if you're not making money off your
Merch,
logo
yeah.
because you're changing it,
Yeah.
you're not making
so
money.
you lost all that merch that you
I mean,
printed.
it could arguably prop you up a little bit, right? It's something coming in. So you got no merch, you have no logo, you have no team identity name, and then you start to lose sponsors because you're so corrupt within it that you're just a big pile of doo.
Yeah, and apparently, like this Dan Snyder character, like is not liked within.
Butler's saying attendance
business
actually
world.
isn't poor from the chat room.
Well, at
He
the
could
Redskins
he
game?
could have come in here and said that, but he likes to.
Hold on, Butler, get in here because I listen to a lot of gambling podcasts, and every single one of them talk about how horrible the Redskins' home field advantage is. Now, they do say that 40% of the fans, prior to this, were from the opposing team. Especially like Eagles games, there would be more Eagles fans than Redskins fans. But they all talk about home field advantage for the Redskins is horrible.
I've been to several, granted, and they were playing Baltimore when Baltimore wasn't the best either, and they were always been. Granted, that's also kind of like a corridor.
It's a rivalry.
It's a rivalry,
Yeah,
so they've all
yeah.
been pretty decent. But I mean, I don't know. I have friends that have they actually are on wait lists to get season tickets. And
Because
so-
it's sold out?
No, I don't know if it's sold out or what, or if it's just like a section that they're waiting for, opposed to you have tiers of season tickets. But I mean, I've always been to pretty solid crowds.
I'm gonna trust
Take that.
anybody
Thank
but
you,
you.
Butler.
yeah.
Thank you, business baby. I mean Butler. Business Butler.
I don't know. Tom's never been to FedEx Stadium, so
Yeah, I haven't, but
No,
I trust the guys that
Oh,
make their
man.
living gambling, and then the information that they have over Butler's. My buddy said he may have trouble getting season tickets. Don't know though. Thanks a lot.
Back to you.
Yeah, I went to a game how many years ago? 8.5 years ago.
Hey, Butler writes for Business Baby. Head writer.
So anyway, but the broader point I wanted to bring up is like every once in a while, you hear these stories of like horrible bosses or the heads of a company that's horrible, and then you're like,
I enjoyed that movie, Horrible Bosses.
and so you're like, how is this continuing to go on? And it goes on, and you're just like, what? I guess nothing matters. But then it never goes on forever. Like there's
No,
something
it
like
never
the
does.
Cosby thing. People heard the Cosby rumors for years before it finally the hammer
You can
dropped.
only protect it for so long before
Yeah, there's
it's going to
some
come out.
so it's like I'm sure.
Yeah, and then even when it comes out, though, a lot of people don't believe it.
True.
Which is the awful thing about this and why a lot of people
Yeah.
don't report it because
Yeah.
nobody believes them.
And that's when more of the individuals but usually when it's a big organization like this.
No, I'm telling you, I watched that. I was saying that Athlete A documentary about the USA women's gymnastics team.
Oh, that's vile.
That had been going on for years.
True.
And it was reported to people in the highest
Nobody-
positions.
But
and it went to the FBI and it got ignored.
But now it's blown open because of the Netflix thing, and that's usually
yeah,
what happens.
but if
look at
there's
how
any-
long it took.
It does take a
If
long time.
there's
I mean, this
any-
guy's been an a-hole.
And then people
for-
are like, why didn't these women report it years ago? Well, maybe some of them did, and they didn't. And like
Yeah,
the Epstein thing. Remember the ladies went to the FBI
Oh,
then,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
years and years
But
went on.
it all
I'm saying
comes back
eventually.
to eventually
Let's
it will,
hope
but it
so.
all comes down to like something Tom said, and I think you say this weekly. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think in big corporations people like to work. It's a lot easier to keep wheels on the bus.
Yeah.
Look at when I resigned.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like I went with grievances and things that I didn't think were good, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody, basically, the corporation, and this is a fact. I'm not trying to dig up any old. I'm just saying this is what
Yeah,
from
yeah.
my past experience of corporations. And they looked at me and they're like, "Thank you."
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they don't care.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to
Just keep on
try and
trucking.
maintain
Yeah,
than
yeah.
it is to you dig the whole thing up again. You got to start from
So
scratch
there's a
every
lot
single year.
of different journalists that are tweeting that there's going to be this scandal that's released today from the Washington Post. No one's actually saying what it is. There are rumors about sexual assault, like I said, racism, but they're all saying like when it does get exposed, it will essentially force Snyder to sell the team.
Wow.
They're saying it's going to be the end
So
of
this
him.
is almost like a Sixers scenario, right? With old Big Magic Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
He got A's.
Yeah,
With all these tweets, I'm like, just somebody spill the beans. I want to know what's happening.
Sounds like Corey Feldman over here teasing. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably happening
the
right
Washington
now.
Post is probably they've leaked a little bit out.
It's happening right now. By the way, all what you're saying, like the forcing of the selling of this is all going on, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that the way it works?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
In May 2018, a report that there were several cheerleaders mistreated on a trip to Costa Rica. It says that was
well,
reported,
that's-
and that
that's
and
okay.
that wasn't enough to force
look,
Snyder out.
they knew
That's
when
cla-
they. No, I'm kidding.
That's classic
terrible.
Redskins.
It says, according to
classic.
Twitter speculation, Snyder could have had some nefarious ties to the late Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my!
He may have
God.
pimped out cheerleaders out for sex work, and
Come
others are throwing
on.
around guesses that perhaps Ghislaine Maxwell's secret husband.
I'm
What was
sorry.
that?
was me. I ate an Olea for lunch. And
Oh my God!
the hummus gives me the whistle toots. Oh God, in bed sometimes my wife calls me the little engine that could.
But man,
It's racist.
What's interesting is that even the allegations right now we saw happen with Jay Gruden. Like they kept some
we
video
saw,
because that video was
we
years
saw it got
old.
leaked, and then people were like, "This got leaked for the organization to like make sure that
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like it was a thumb on his face."
Yeah,
you know?
and then we were like, wow. And then I even when people were saying that, and then obviously like the video was old, and why did it come out? Like I was like, did they really?
Yeah,
do
we
that?
were like,
Because
why'd they sit on that?
It was so egregious that it almost unbelievable. You're like, nah, maybe they just happened to come out at the same. This coincidence, but no. After this, it'll probably be like, oh, this is what they did. Like they did business like this, like horrible people. And apparently the owner is a horrible person from a lot of different things. Like
he's not well liked. I don't know much about him, but
yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie. I waited on him when I worked at Capitol Grill, and he was a d-bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Hey, look at this guy! Wow.
Yeah.
Again, thank you, Butler.
Yeah. So apparently he's not a good guy, and this it'll be interesting if they keep the franchise there or if this is the end, because it could be like, here's the thing, why even rename it now? It's like if you're going to be forced to sell anyway,
start fresh.
Like
Yeah.
maybe go to a different city.
Are there any cities right now that have laid in wait for a?
I always thought New Mexico should have a team.
Yeah, the Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Turkeys.
Maybe
The Albuquerque
What about
turkeys.
Idaho?
Yeah.
What they got going on?
Yeah. There's,
South Dakota.
Heavy breather over here.
I don't. Well, the thing, South Dakota's not enough people.
Let's not do my nose. I got a boogery nose.
23 and me, grom.
Are you waiting to yell at the C word? It feels like you are.
Why are you?
Jesus.
Every time you come in here on the mic, you do the heavy breathe, and I don't.
Sensitive mic.
Okay, I don't want to believe it's you. I don't want to believe it's you. I don't think it is.
It is.
It's 100% you because it's bothered me since. And he goes,
You're like you're making an audible sound.
It's like your lungs have their own vocal cords. Like they're just. It's like warm, hot air.
Some of the minority owners of the team they're already trying to sell their shares of the team.
Oh yeah. People are
It's
gonna
going
jump
down,
ship.
buddy.
It's happening.
Oh,
Yeah, it's happening.
Oh, and then the players are not going to want to play.
No.
You know, like it's like, oh, it's going to be a mess. Oh, Washington's going to be the worst team this year. And
Yeah, let's call them the Idaho Potato Skins.
yeah.
All right.
Like it goes back to skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, because you know,
I almost
I
bought-
want a new. Like, it'd be cool just to have a brand new football NFL football
Brand new
team.
team. I almost bought your.
Rarely happens.
I almost bought your son something. This ties in. I almost bought your son something for his birthday today, but I want an honest answer from you on the air of what you would have done had this shown up at your house.
Okay.
And it was one of those potatoes with a person's face on it.
What do you mean? I don't even know what that is.
You can send people in the mail. It's a Facebook ad that popped up. You can send them a potato. And they'll print your face out and then like glue it or print it on the potato.
Okay, all right.
And what would you do if you got a box? Because I thought, like, what's the
But
craziest?
it had Remy's face on it.
No, I was gonna do my face, and you can write underneath. I was gonna write "Happy Birthday, Max" from Danny Denny.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then with
again,
my face.
And then we're at the party. It's just only Tommy, Max, my niece.
Yeah, because you can't really have anybody. Yeah.
And then they're opening presents. And then he opens. I'm like, hey, this is from Mr. Dan. You know
Yeah,
him. He's my
Mr.
business
Daniel.
partner.
Yeah.
He's a half owner of the company Daddy runs. He's
it's $16.95 for this potato. Look it up, Sam.
I bet this is gonna be good because business partners, they give each other's kids like elaborate gifts.
Do
I
they?
don't.
Well, Maisie's birthday is come and gone.
I told Crystal to buy you something nice, and she got you some
I
garbage.
think she did, but I don't pay attention.
I was embarrassed by it. It wasn't even that good. I was like, buy her the mini
did
street
Crystal
bike.
get us something?
Is it Potato Pal?
What'd she get us?
Charades.
Oh, sure. How
my
much?
God.
Look on the back and write the exact dollar amount down so I can get. Yeah, she did get a board game.
Yeah, a board game for
Yeah.
your
She
business
got-
partner's daughter.
She got her family charades, and then she got her, I don't know if you have them, there's 3 packs of cards, like one for the car, one for home, and one while you're out on a walk, and it's like you have to find whatever's on the car.
Nerd game.
Maisie loves them, though.
She does love them.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but
she
no-
loves the charade cards. I would love. My wife's here, so I can't lie. Normally I lie to you guys all day.
Yeah, we know.
She's here, so loves the game. Charades begs to play
Begs to
every
play
night. We
all the
play. Your wife bought the best gift. Like
And Maisie
every.
is the worst at charades.
Oh, she's
terrible.
I'm gonna do
You
what she
should
did,
video
and
some of your charades.
I'm gonna do one right now.
Okay.
And
We
you
gotta
can-
guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and you guess. This is what Maisie did. Okay, ready?
All right.
Here it is.
He's taking his headphones off.
Okay. All right.
He's on the floor.
He's on his. Oh, now he's laying on his back with his
Okay.
feet and hands
All
up.
right. So feet and hands
It's
up.
almost like a dead bug.
The car accident, crashed, fell down on the
He's
bicycle.
not moving at all.
I'm thinking an
Wait,
astronaut
I
taking
know
off.
which one this is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Moose,
wait,
dead
wait.
moose.
Yeah.
Wait for it until you tell. It's in
Dead
like a dead
inward.
bug position, like
Yeah.
when you're on your back, like a dead
Okay.
roach. But it's not a dead roach. What is it?
This is why I think my daughter's dumb and a chopper.
It's a banana.
Banana.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she was trying
trying
to.
to make
Okay.
the-
Banana. Right? Yeah, chop, chop,
No,
chop.
here's banana. You
Choppity
pretend
chop.
like you have
That's a
one and then
choppy.
peel
That's
it.
what I told her. She was like, banana,
She was
banana.
actually supposed to be the banana.
That's cute.
She did.
Tiny head.
Yeah, yeah, she has a tiny head. My daughter is white girl. Howard's her Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
She's a chopper.
What can we get for Max for his birthday?
Oh, we gotta go. Bye.